Good evening, everybody. I'm tired. And this is Jeff Darling, who... I think I almost just fell asleep right there in my intro. Good evening, everybody. It's me, your host, your commissioner, big old fat loser in this league this year, Jeff Darling for Warrenton's finest fantasy football league. A strange intro if there ever was one, but guys, I'm just too tired to care, and I'm not going to re-record this. So let's go on straight on into it. We're doing our week 8. Is it really been 8 weeks of this torture? 8-week recap, week 9 preview. It was a doozy, and let me just tell you guys, already I'm pretty upset about some choices that I've made. So let's get into week 8. Week 8 saw yours truly going up against Matt. Now, Matt, buddy, friend, pal, Matt, week 6, you put up, you scored 110, but you lost. Week 7, you scored 57 points. So last week, you scored 57 points. Then you go up against me, and you score 142? How do you do that? How do you have the exact same team have a 90-point swing? I don't get it. That's not fair. I was supposed to beat you 113 to like 110. I scored 110, so I was very close to my projection, which it didn't look like it would be. I feel like I stuck at like 40 points for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden I have 110. But it wasn't. Didn't matter. I lose 142 to 110. I have fallen to 2-6. Pretty upset about that. Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. I can never get that choice right. I think if I had started Baker Mayfield, I would have had 128. If I had started, and I wouldn't have done this, but if I had started Marvin Harrison instead of DJ Moore, that would have been plus 14. So 14 plus 128, 132, 142. Oh my gosh. I could have beat you if I had done Marvin Harrison instead of DJ Moore and Baker Mayfield instead of Jordan Love. But I stand by my choices. They were all the right call, and then they just didn't turn out right. And that's just how my year has been. And that's how fantasy will be. You play the wrong person the wrong week. You make the right choices that end up not actually being the right choice. And what are you going to do? What I'm going to do is move on to the next one. All right, Brandon took on Dan. Old roommates turn into bitter enemies now. Dan handily beats ChatGB Lee 124 to 104. Brandon, I wish I played you every week, honestly. I wish I played you. But I wish I played you last week as well. Dan putting together a pretty solid team. That little auto draft team doing pretty well. And Brandon, change your kicker and your defense and Michael Pittman Jr. But you had a really good week. I mean, if it wasn't for those 3 things, wide receiver, defense, and kicker getting you a total of 6 points, you might have had a shot. But you lost. All right, next up, we had Greg taking on Jason. Now, guys, this one, we're just going to marinate here for a second because Greg even went so far, I believe, I could find the screenshot, but I believe Greg made a comment about something about waiting till he had 99% probability of winning, and then he posted something in our little chat, and you did have 99%. And I didn't understand that because I was like, wow, 99%. I thought Jason had somebody playing. And he did have someone playing. And he was a wide receiver. And it seemed odd to have someone in the first quarter of a game, I mean, a team that's not me, and saying that they had only 1% chance to win because this guy, whoever this T. Tracy Jr. is, Tyrone Tracy Jr. Now, Jason, were you smart by playing this guy? I've never heard of this guy. 1.2 points, 0.2, 5, 2.6, 14.5, 19.7, 4.7, and then he gives you 24 points. 24 points. You were down by, I think, by 16 or something. And this dude, Tyrone Tracy Jr., flipped the 99s all the way around. And Jason, with the comeback from behind victory that made Greg rethink everything about his life, Jason wins 128.58 to 120.96. Greg, if you had started McConklin, Well, you got a couple Micks on your team, and I don't mean that as a Irish slur. So excuse me if that's even what that was. Hey, you've got yeah, but you've got a McLaughlin and then a McConkey. But I'm laughing because I just saw next to Jay Williams on Detroit, which I believe stands for suspended. You got a questionable and an IR. A couple questions. Anyway, Greg, sorry, buddy. It stings, doesn't it? Next up, the overachiever taking on the Weasel and Michael. Hope you didn't blow it. If you face Paul later in the year, you might have ruined your one chance, but you beat him. You always lose to the Weasel, but this time you doubled him up, 145 to 79.56. How do I get a team that can score 145 points? Golly, that'd be nice. Jaden Daniels. Oh, guys, that Washington game, holy smokes. I'm not a Commanders fan or a Redskins fan or a Washington football team fan, but I was watching the ending of that. You couldn't even help it unless you were a Bears fan. But even I feel like probably Bears fans, even deep down, were like, oh, that was awesome. But maybe not. I don't know. But that was awesome. That was incredible. That Hail Mary, holy moly. But anyways, 24 points for him. 20. How many times can you start someone in the row with 20 points? 24 for your quarterback, 22 for your running back, 26 for your running back, and everybody was basically double digits. That's incredible. I guess that's how you do it. And Paul, sorry, pal, we're just having a kind of a rough year as Cowboy fans and fantasy compadres. Next up, Carlos, talk about rough, or speaking of rough, taking on Team Queen. Team Queen riding high with, I think, a 4-game win streak, 3-game win streak, whatever it is. She beat her husband last week, which sounds wrong, or maybe it sounds just about right in today's day and age. And she beat Carlos handily, 132 to 76. Carlos, why couldn't I have played you that week? Anyways, Carlos, I don't know what we're going to do, pal. We just can't seem to score very high. You should have traded me Brandon Aubrey when you had the chance. But you had a couple of points left on your bench, but you probably wouldn't have started those guys. Who would have? C. Tillman? Who the heck is that? Cedric Tillman, wide receiver on the Browns. Jameis Winston. Guys, that guy is just fun. I don't know if you've watched many Jameis Winston quotes and clips, but that dude, every time he opens his mouth, before his Browns game, he's like, guys, represent the name on the back of your jersey and represent the logo on your... Well, we ain't got a logo on our helmet. But anyways... represent the Browns. And it was really funny. That dude's hilarious. Anyways, sorry, Carlos. Next up, the last one. Midnight Mike taking on the Creature. The battle of the two previous league champions. And Sean held off 123 to Mike's 103.9. Mike, why not? I couldn't have played you last week. And now I'm playing you this week. But Sean continues to get great production from his players. You just know he just feeds them well, treats them right, except for Keenan Allen. Doesn't know how to treat that guy well. Still on your bench, though. I'm surprised you haven't dropped him yet. Or maybe you have. All right, let's take a look at week 9, which is underway because I've been very busy and I didn't get a chance to do this beforehand. But I am projected 108 to Mike's 105, taking on Team Midnight again, by the way. Right now, I started Devontae Adams because, like, there's no way he can do 3 dud games in a row with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. But no, look at that. First quarter's nearly over, 0 points. No catches. I don't think he probably hasn't had a single target. This is a stinker of a game. Anyways, I hope I win, Mike. Love you, buddy. Actually, I was thinking of starting a new... what's it called? A new segment, a new something or other. Instead of just looking at the preview, this segment's called Who Needs It Most? And we're talking about wins. Who needs it most? Does Mike need it at a record of 6-2, losing 2 in a row, or does the Dallas Jeff Boys need it most at 2-6 with a 1-game losing? I'm gonna move my hat back because that's weird. I need it more. Sorry, Mike. Don't be selfish. I need to beat you. All right, next up for Who Needs It Most? Dan taking on Gone Fishing. Dan has won 2 in a row. His record is 7-1. Taking on Matt, who has won one, but lost 3 before that, sitting at 3 and 5. Who needs it most? I think Matt needs it most. Right now, projected Dan 115 to Matt 109. Oh, let's see if you stick to that projection this time, fish boy. All right, next up, who needs it most? Jason taking on Chat GB Lee, and you know what? Honestly, Jason's sitting at 5 and 3. Brandon at 1 and 7, losing 7 games in a row, recovering from knee surgery. Brandon needs this one most. Oh dear, and you have negative points right now, Brandon. But projected, Jason 105 to Brandon's 93, but Brandon, it's currently 0 to negative 0.76. Who did you start? I must click on this. Oh dear, CJ Stroud, minus points for you. How's that possible? That's weird. Okay, anyways, sorry, Brandon, but you need it most. I hope you win. Next up, the Weasel taking on my last year. Who needs it most? Paul at 0 and 8. Greg at 4 and 4. Loser of 2 in a row. Loser of 8 in a row. It's hard because Paul needs it for morale-wise. But in this grand scheme, Paul needs it most. All right, Paul needs it most. Right now, projected to lose, though, 90 to Greg's 116.1. Team Queen taking on the overachiever. Hannah at 5 and 3. Michael at 6 and 2. Hannah riding 4 games in a row. Michael 3 games in a row. Right now, projected 126 for Michael to Hannah's 112. Who needs it most? Hannah does, I believe, just because that would be the great equalizer. They would both then have the same record, 6 and 3. It would make some nice parity for the league. All right, next up, who needs it most? Sean taking on Huck Tua. Sean at 7 and 1. Carlos at 2 and 6. Sean's won 6 in a row. Carlos has lost 1 in a row. Lost one. Right now projected, Sean 120, again with the 120 projections. You guys are so selfish with these high projections. And Carlos projected 98 points. But Carlos, already have 15 points, buddy, by the Jets defense. How about that? Who needs it most? Carlos needs it most. I just realized this new segment's probably trash because whoever needs it most is the underdog, in my opinion. I don't think I rooted for a single person with a winning record. But hey, that's who needs it most. I mean, maybe it's more complicated next week. We'll find out. But anyways, who needs it most? Sleep? Me. I need it. I need it most. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Check your lineups. Check your local listings. Do people still do that? Check your local listings? Is that even a thing? Guys, I heard this noise outside, and I don't know what it was. And I went outside with a flashlight and did a full perimeter check, which is really scary, especially on Halloween night. I don't live in a neighborhood, which actually probably makes it worse. But yeah, we were up in the bedroom putting the kids to bed, and I hear like this thump. I don't know if it was from downstairs in my house or from outside. I checked every single room, which is terrifying. I just found out we're not afraid of being alone in the dark. We're afraid of not being alone in the dark. So think about that one for a while. Anyways, I checked every room, nothing. I checked all around the house. Chickens are alive. Nothing, nothing. I don't know what it was. And that's worse. I wish I had found something knocked over. I wish I'd found a person even. But now that the fact that I heard this weird thumping noise, I can't find the cause of it. This could be my last video ever. All right, have a great night. Talk to you later.